All right, good morning. My name is Captain Chris Mercado, and I'm the commander of HHC 218 Infantry. Today, the purpose of this video is to educate and inform soldiers and leaders at the company level and below how to maintain an arms room in accordance with Army standards. Rigid enforcement of Army standards ensures that our kit is safe for our soldiers to use, and it's ready when we need it. I'm joined here today by Corporal Gannon. Corporal Gannon is our assistant armorer, but presently he's filling the shoes of our primary armorer while our primary armorer is in school. So, Corporal Gannon, where does an inspection of an arms room begin?
Begins with the SOP, sir.
The SOP. Okay, do you have a copy of it?
Yes, sir, right here.
Okay, is this your copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's up with all the notes you've got on here?
I add details to things I have questions about, blanks that need filling in, so that I can run the arms room according to the SOP, sir.
Okay, and putting notes on there helps make it more useful for you?
Yes, sir.
All right, you've got like a clean copy, something that you use for show, I suppose?
Yes, sir, there's one on the wall right there between our brigade and company SOPs.
Okay, so you've got the brigade, the 170th Infantry Brigade SOP, the battalion SOP, and then the company level SOP.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, and all three of them are nested and they complement one another?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So tell me, what exactly is the arms room?
The arms room is the heart of readiness, sir.
The heart of readiness?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it's the heart of readiness, that must mean it's one of the most important functions of our company.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, what are the three key tasks of our heart of readiness, our arms room?
We need to maintain all the equipment to 1020 standards, and we need to maintain cleanliness and accountability, sir.
Accountability? How do we maintain accountability of our equipment?
We do regular inventories, sir. Both,
Okay.
every month we do a cyclic 10% inventory of everything on the arms room hand receipt. We also every month do a 100% inventory of all sensitive items. And we can do other command directed inventories, and every day we do opening and closing buttstock counts.
That's a lot of counting.
Yes, sir.
But I suppose if we're accounting for this equipment that often, we're not going to lose anything.
That's the plan, sir.
That's the idea? Okay. Well, how do we do an inventory? Is it like would you just go through and you count the items? How do you do it?
We need to physically see every item,
Okay.
and we also need the TM out, the technical manual, so that we can see what components comprise the item, so that anybody can do the inventory and know if something's missing or if everything is accounted for, sir.
And do we also need a component listing?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so to do an inspection or an inventory properly, we have to do a physical inspection, and we have to have a TM and a component listing.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, fantastic. You also mentioned that we got to keep this stuff clean. It seems like there's a lot of equipment in this arms room. Is that your job to make sure all this stuff is clean?
It's my job to ensure that it is clean, sir.
Okay, so whose job is it to actually physically clean the equipment?
It is the whole company, is basically whoever the equipment is assigned to.
Okay, so the owner of the equipment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Now, what happens if a piece of kit gets in here and it's dirty?
I clean it, sir.
Oh, then it becomes your job?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're QA/QCing the equipment as it comes back in, making sure that it's clean.
Yes, sir.
And if it comes back in, I'm sure Sergeant Dunn to make sure you're cleaning it.
That's my incentive to ensure that it's coming in clean, sir.
Okay, you also mentioned something about 1020 standards.
Yes, sir.
Maintenance. Well, tell me more about that.
Well, it's one thing to have an item fully mission capable, or FMC, but to keep things to 1020 standards, we keep them to 10 and 20 level standards. Every item has a 10 and 20 level TM,
Okay.
which has a list of things that standards it needs to meet to maintain, to be more than fully operational. For instance, if you have a pair of nods, every set of nods has lens covers and eye cups. Without those things, the pair of nods will still operate just fine. It will turn on and off and do everything that it's supposed to do. However, the eye cups and the lens covers keep the item from being damaged by sunlight. So, in order to keep things to 1020 level standards, we need to ensure that they have eye cups and lens covers, so that out in the field the item doesn't get damaged.
Okay, so I see. What you're telling me then really is that the TM, 1020 level, or 1020, gives me the standards for a piece of kit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so tell me about the people who have got responsibilities to this arms room.
Well, it's the whole company's responsibility, but it starts with you, sir, as the company commander.
Wait. So you're telling me that I have responsibility to this arms room?
That's right, sir.
Okay, what would be my responsibilities to this arms room?
Well, you oversee the inventories that you command, because this is ultimately on your property book, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Which inventories do I do personally?
You always do the 10-month cyclic inventories.
Okay, the 10%?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I do the SII, the sensitive items inventory?
You don't do that yourself, sir.
Okay, so I delegate that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What other responsibilities do I have in the arms room?
You have to make sure you have the right people in the right job, sir.
Okay, so I've got to make sure that I've got the right team in place.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I have the right team in place?
Yes, sir, you do.
How do I know that?
Because we've been certified, sir,
Okay.
and you've appointed us.
Okay, so you've been trained, you've been certified, you've been appointed. Have we checked your background at all?
Yes, sir, you've done a background check, and we also do check the flag reports every month to
Okay.
ensure that nobody allowed unaccompanied access into this room is flagged for any reason, sir.
Okay, so how did we train you?
We do a RIP checklist, sir.
Okay.
There's one on the wall, or there's actually a couple on the wall over here.
Okay. So what is the RIP checklist?
It is a relief in place checklist. It details all the tasks involved in maintaining the arms room to standard. Each broad grouping of each bigger task, such as opening the arms room, closing it, conducting an inventory, signing out equipment, and so forth, is broken down into smaller tasks so that every single step is detailed.
So truly, the RIP checklist details step by step everything that you would need to do to be an armorer and
Yes,
to
sir.
maintain this arms room in accordance with Army standards.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who all does a RIP checklist?
The arms room officer does, sir, the armorer, and the assistant armorer, sir.
Okay. Do we have any platoon armorers?
We do have platoon armorers. They also have RIP checklists.
Okay.
That are kept with the platoon mall books, sir.
Okay, fair enough. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Who trains and certifies the platoon armorers?
The armorer, sir.
The armorer does. Okay. Who trains and certifies the assistant armorer?
The armorer, sir.
Okay. Who trains and certifies the armorer?
The arms room officer or yourself, sir.
Okay. And who trains and certifies the arms room officer?
You do, sir.
Okay, so it starts from the top and comes all the way down.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Once they've been properly trained and you guys have annotated every step complete on the RIP checklist, what do we do next?
Then you certify us, sir.
Okay, so you're certified in writing,
Yes, sir.
and that's what this is right here.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so once you've been briefed, you've been trained, you've been certified, what do we have to do next?
Then you appoint us to our positions, sir.
Have we done that?
Yes, sir.
How do I know that?
Our duty appointments right there on the wall.
Okay.
One for the armorer and assistant armorer,
Okay,
and another one for the arms room officer, sir.
okay, so the arms room officer and the armorer and assistant armorer have all been appointed in writing.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, now you mentioned something about flag reports and background checks. What's this all about?
Well, we do a background check that involves the whole process of going through S1 and S2 and the MPs, sir. Having everybody check off, make sure that we're not wanted for anything back
Okay,
in the States or here, that we don't have anything blotting our records, basically.
okay, and what's the flag report?
That's a monthly report detailing the full list of people in the company who are flagged for any reason, not necessarily because they're in trouble. It could be as simple as a weight control program, but if they're on the flag report for any reason, they can't be in this arms room by themselves.
Fair enough. Okay, I understand. The SOP here says that the last thing that a company commander must do is make sure that you guys are appointed unaccompanied arms room access. Have we done that?
That's right, sir. Yes, that memo is up there on the top row.
Okay. So, trained, certified, appointed, inspected your guys' backgrounds, and then given unaccompanied access. Who all has unaccompanied access to the arms room?
Right now, it's the armorer, the assistant armorer, and the arms room officer, sir.
And that's it?
That's it.
No one else needs unaccompanied access?
Not even you, sir.
Fair enough. Okay. Who else has a responsibility to this arms room?
The arms room officer does, sir.
Okay. Who's the arms room officer?
That's Lieutenant Odekirk right now, sir.
Okay. And what are his responsibilities to this arms room?
He must also make sure that it's being kept up to standard, and also he's responsible for inventories also.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that he's also making sure that we're keeping the SOPs in place? We're also looking for inefficiencies
Yes,
and maybe finding better ways of doing things?
Exactly.
Okay. And I think probably his primary responsibility would be to learn this system itself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why not my XO? You skipped the XO.
He does have a responsibility of the arms room, but he also has a number of other duties, so he cannot be exclusively the arms room officer.
But it seems like he would probably be the most experienced guy for the job.
He would be, sir, but you also appoint the arms room officers and rotate them out through the other commodity shops so that they have experience for when they become XOs.
Okay, and then they can manage the different commodity shop officers.
Exactly,
As opposed
sir.
to one commodity itself.
Yes.
Probably just too much for the XO. Okay, I'll buy that. Who else?
Then there's also the armorer and assistant armorer.
Okay, so what are the jobs of the armorer and assistant armorer?
They must maintain the cleanliness, accountability, and keep everything to 1020 standards on a day-to-day basis, sir.
Okay, fair enough. SOP here says something about a master authorization list. What
Yes,
is that?
that's something that the armorer creates. It
Okay.
is synced with the battle roster and the alert roster, sir, so it's a company level book. It details who is assigned what piece of equipment.
Okay, so I can look at the master authorization list or the MAL, and I can tell who is assigned a certain piece of kit.
That's right, sir.
Okay, now are there platoon MALs, or is this strictly a company thing?
Well, the master mall is a company level thing.
Okay.
Each platoon also has a platoon mall book. That details who is assigned what within that platoon, and also the service records for each item that is assigned to people in that platoon.
Okay, so why do we maintain platoon records and company records?
To maintain all the company records, which we do, takes up file cabinets. For a platoon level mall book, it's something that one platoon armorer can handle themselves.
Also, I imagine it makes it more portable. So
Yes.
that if, for whatever reason, I had to maybe send a platoon to another company or maybe to another battalion, they
Exactly.
could take their book and they'd have all of the records that they need, the maintenance, the service histories, their platoon mall.
That's right, sir.
Okay, so it makes it a deployable system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Now, you said something about the mall also matched the alert roster and the battle roster.
Yes, sir.
All right, why do we do that?
Because the items are not assigned to people, they're assigned to positions. And the battle roster and the alert roster reflect positions and sync them up with which actual individuals fill those positions.
Okay, so what happens if we have more equipment than we do positions?
Then some positions are assigned more than one piece of equipment.
Okay, so then whoever may be filling that job is then responsible for its maintenance, its cleanliness.
That's right, sir.
Okay, I think I'm tracking now. Okay, assistant armor, what are your jobs?
My job is to help out the primary armor with both opening and closing buttstock counts, the inventories that we conduct, ensuring that everything that comes into this arms room is clean and has the appropriate paperwork, organizing that paperwork, and basically doing everything to make her job easier.
Fair enough. What about platoon armorers?
The platoon armorers are mostly responsible for maintaining the platoon mall book and also ensuring that the platoons are maintaining their equipment to standard.
Okay, now the SOP starts talking about forms.
Yes, sir.
Looking at a DA form 2062, 2404, 3161, what are some of these forms?
These forms help us maintain the accountability of all the equipment and the security of this arms room, sir.
Okay, so let's start with the 2062, what's that?
That is both a hand receipt and can also be used as a shortage annex, sir.
Okay, fair enough. What do we use the 2062 for on a daily basis?
It's mostly used as a hand receipt, sir.
Okay, so anytime you send a piece of kit out of this arms room, 2062 gets filled, is that?
That's right, sir.
Okay, is there a proper way to fill one out?
There is, sir.
Okay, so talk to me about some of the differences between filling out a hand receipt versus a shortage annex. How do I distinguish between the two?
Well, you black out whichever one it's not, and then continue to fill it out from there.
Okay, all right. What's a DA form 2404?
2404 is used for unit and operator level maintenance, sir, to document that. Along with TM, the operator can PMCS a piece of equipment and
Okay.
identify any deficiencies.
So it's kind of a maintenance document.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I thought a 5988F was a maintenance document.
It's also a maintenance document,
So
sir.
there's two different ones.
There are two different ones, sir.
Why do we have two different forms?
The 2404 can be used for all equipment. The 5988 is generated by the SAMS box, and it's most often used for annual gauging or quarterly maintenance at a higher than a 20 level.
So services.
Yes, sir.
Be quarterly, semi-annual, annual services.
Yes, sir.
I was under the impression though that all of the equipment in the arms room would just be in the SAMS box.
That's not the case, sir.
Okay.
There are some things that are either bought off the shelf, they're civilian equipment,
Okay.
or they're just 2 new for the Sam's box.
Okay, so if it's not in the Sam's box, how do you do a maintenance document?
We just use 2404, sir.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, well, what's a DA Form 3161?
That's used for lateral transfer, sir, from one unit, when we're transferring equipment from one unit to another unit.
Okay, fair enough. How about an SF Form 701 and 702?
Those are used to maintain the physical security of this arms room. The 701 is kept on the inside. That's the last form I fill out before locking the room up for the day. It's a basic checklist of things to maintain security. Did I close the windows? Have I accidentally thrown out classified material? Are all the cages locked? And so on. And I just initial that off after making sure that I've accomplished that task at the end of every day.
Okay, and how about the 702?
The 702 is kept on the outside of the room, sir. It's used to indicate when I've opened and closed the arms room, and also when staff duty or whoever else checks the security of the arms room during the night.
Okay, fair enough. While we're talking about some of these forms, let's talk about some of the references that you use here in the arms room. According to the SOP, there's a handful of them. You've got AR 190-11, AR 190-51, AR 710-2, DA PAM 710-2-1, and then Army and Europe Regulation 190-13. What are some of these references?
They also they're the standards used to guide the security of the arms room and also to maintain the equipment in this arms room.
Okay, so do you maintain those references here in the arms room?
Yes, sir. They're right there in these binders behind you.
Okay, so do you know, like say, for example, what is 710-2?
710-2 is supply policy below the national level, sir.
Okay, so it's a supply regulation?
Yes, sir.
Why do you need to have a supply regulation in the arms room?
Every piece of equipment in this arms room is property.
Okay.
And falls under the command supply discipline of the unit.
Okay, and I'm sure 710-2 probably tells you exactly how you maintain accountability of that property, right?
Yes, sir.
You do step by step. It's probably what drove this SOP.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. What are some of the other references? You've got 190-11, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's physical security of containers.
Okay, and so what does that tell me?
It's how to keep weapons and explosives and ordnance secure, sir.
Okay, fair enough. How about the final one, Army and Europe Regulation 190-13?
That's basically a supplement to 190-11 for specific requirements for installations in Europe, sir.
Okay, so it'd be fair to say that it's not enough to have the regulations on hand. You have to also know what they are and how they're useful.
That's right, sir.
Okay, why is that?
Well, they're what we rely on to keep things to standard, sir. They are the standard.
They are the standard. Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, I think we've gone through that portion of it. Let's talk a little bit about your hand receipt. Do you have your hand receipt?
Yes, sir. I have it right here.
Okay, so you've got it on hand?
Yes, sir.
All right, and is it signed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how often do you sign your hand receipt?
Every month, sir.
Okay, you sign it every month. Do you validate the hand receipt before you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Or do you just every month you just sign it?
I make sure that I'm signing for nothing other than what is in this arms room, sir.
And how do you do that?
I go through the hand receipt.
And
look
inspect
at
every item? Okay, fair enough. How long do you keep a record of previous month's hand receipts?
For 3 years, sir.
For 3 years. Now, the regulations would probably just say 1 to 2 years, right?
Yes, sir. It's 2 years, but there are also documents, and documents must be kept for 3 years, sir.
Fair enough. And how many lens do you have on your hand receipt?
90 right now, sir.
Okay, so you're maintaining 90 lens. Is that enough? Too much? What do you think?
It's what I need to maintain, sir.
Perfect. Okay. So, what's the responsibility of the individual soldier?
To make sure that all equipment that he is assigned is accounted for and kept clean and to standard, sir. That any deficiencies are identified so that maintenance can be performed.
Okay. So, let's take a look at some of your platoon binders. We talked about these deployable systems.
Yes, sir.
Can you show me one?
Yes, sir. I've got a couple right here.
All right. We'll go ahead and grab one and you can walk me through it. Here you go.
All right, sir. They've got the battle roster here on the cover.
Okay, so you've got the battle roster on top.
Yes, sir.
All right. What next?
And then it starts, you start with the platoon leader.
Okay, so the first position,
Yes, sir.
okay, and it matches the battle roster, right?
That's correct, sir.
So the first position is the PL,
Yes, sir.
okay? And what is this? I'm looking at a 5988 Echo.
Yes, sir. This is for his weapon, his M4, and this page here contains maintenance documents for that weapon.
Okay. Is this 5988 Echo filled out correctly?
Almost, sir.
Almost?
That doesn't need to be there.
Okay, so in the item number it says 1,
Yes, sir.
and in the fault deficiency it's got a date. What does that indicate?
That would indicate that there are no deficiencies.
Okay.
But the fact that there's an item number there would indicate that there is a deficiency, and that that deficiency would reflect the TM. Whatever the first item in the TM is, that fault that would be there. There would be details of
Okay.
what the date is.
So what you're telling me is that the item number listed there corresponds to the item number in the TM,
That's correct, sir.
and fault number 1 in the TM would correspond to the fault deficiency.
Yes, sir.
Should.
Or ought to.
Ought to. But here, because it's got a date and fault deficiency, that means that there's no faults.
That's
So
right,
there
sir.
should be no item number.
There should be no item number.
Okay, well, what if there's 10 faults? Would item numbers be sequential?
No, sir. That would reflect the TM.
Okay, so it could read 1, 2, 5, 15, 25.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Is everything else correct on the 5988?
It's missing the time that the inspection was performed,
Okay,
and also the signature here. It's not required, but we do like to have the printed name underneath
okay.
so that we know exactly who is performing the inspection, sir.
All right, the next form we're looking at is DA Form 2404.
Yes, sir.
All right, is this filled out correctly?
No, it's not, sir.
All right, it's not. So we got some issues. All right.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk to me about some of the problems with this 2404?
This one is missing the item numbers altogether, even though it has deficiencies listed.
Okay,
And also, the status is not indicated, whether the item, in this case, a site, is deadlined, or if it can still, if it still functions.
and I imagine that anytime a piece of equipment gets signed out of the arms room, when it gets signed back in, it comes back in with a 2404.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, whose job is it to QA/QC these 2404s?
That's my job, sir.
That's your job, so caught you slipping a little bit here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what comes next?
Next after that, it's usually weapon, site, laser,
Okay, so it'll go weapon sight laser every time.
or should be consistent at least.
Okay,
And then here we have the nods,
night vision goggles.
and then we move on to the next position, sir.
And then it goes on to the next position, which would be the platoon sergeant,
That's right, sir.
which should match the battle roster, and it does. Okay. All right, so rear sight and up. Uh-oh, it looks like they're sequential here.
Yeah, it looks like somebody made the exact same mistake here,
Okay,
where they put the date underneath, even though it has deficiencies.
okay. Well, here's giving me fault status in a slash. What does that mean?
That means that the item can still operate, but it does not meet 1020 standards, and it may not even meet FMC standards either.
Okay, what if it's got an X in the fault status?
That means it's deadlined.
Okay.
It doesn't work at all.
Can you ever override that?
You can, sir.
Okay, what
but
do I
you
do?
never do.
That's right, I never do. How would I do that? How would I depict that?
You could circle it, sir.
Okay, but I've never done that.
No, sir.
Okay. So what else am I going to find in a platoon binder?
You'll find that. If it's especially squared away, you'll find service schedules also.
Okay. And do we have a service schedule in here?
I don't see one, sir.
No? All right, support platoon. We got to get after them, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that's interesting you bring up service schedules. Let's talk about service schedules for a little bit. How often do we conduct services on our equipment?
As required, sir. Each piece of equipment has different service requirements.
Okay.
Some only require quarterly maintenance, some require quarterly maintenance and annual gauging. Some require all kinds of things. Most every bit of equipment needs to be serviced every time it's used.
Holy
at least
cow.
at the operator level.
That's awfully confusing. Is there any kind of like record or maybe a cheat sheet which shows me that?
There is a cheat sheet, sir.
All right, yeah. Would you have one handy by chance?
Yes, sir. It's right here.
Fantastic, look at that. All right, so talk me through this thing. What are we looking at?
This has a list of every item that would be in the arms room.
Okay.
And even some things that are not.
Okay,
And then you have columns here, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and so on. with little x wherever it would require.
Okay, so help me understand this, this document here. Show me, say, an M4 or an M16. When does that need to be serviced?
So an M4
Okay, we're looking at weapons. I see it.
right here.
Okay.
We can see X's in both the quarterly and annual columns, so
Okay.
it requires both quarterly and annual
Okay.
services.
And then anytime that you guys sign it out in the arms room, it'll come back in with a 24/4?
Exactly, sir.
Okay, fair enough. So this is what tells me what the Army standards for maintenance or services are
Yes, sir.
on every single piece of equipment that's out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, how do I know what our company's plan is?
We also have service schedules, sir,
Okay,
that we use based on when things were most recently serviced.
okay,
There are several different ways of doing that.
All right.
One is to just have everything serviced all at once on a regular basis. Another way is to stagger things so that we don't have a big clump of stuff going out for services all at once.
okay.
Um,
What are we looking at right here?
That's a memo, that's a memorandum for record indicating the service schedules at the company level.
Okay, so what we saw before was the big Army's service schedule. It tells us that we must service, say, an M4 both quarterly and semi-annually, right?
Yes, sir.
But what this tells us is specifically when we're going to execute our
Right.
company services.
Hard dates, sir.
Hard dates. Okay, so I see here it talks about the equipment packet and what's required to be in an equipment packet. Can you tell me a little bit more about an equipment packet for services?
You need usually a 2407,
Okay.
5988.
Okay. We didn't talk about a 2407. What is that?
That is a request for maintenance, sir.
Okay, so
So
it's a job order?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. What else? 5988?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then that's turned in, usually with the 2404 in addition, up to maintenance.
Okay.
For them to conduct services, sir.
Do we conduct services on all of our kit or just some of it?
All of it, sir.
Okay, what's the purpose of conducting services? Like what are services?
To fix any deficiencies, correct any faults,
Okay.
or just to make sure that it's the standards, sir.
So what you're really telling me is that conducting maintenance on our equipment, conducting services is actually checking to make sure that our equipment is safe and fully functional?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. What happens if we miss our services?
Then we cannot document, we cannot guarantee that that equipment is safe, sir.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you had, say, a 240 Bravo that we didn't get through services for some reason or another, would you sign that 240 Bravo out of the arms room?
No, sir.
Under no circumstances?
No, sir.
Why not?
Unless the hordes were massing at the gates, sir.
But-
I wouldn't, because I can't guarantee its safety, sir.
Okay, that's awesome. So you are also a quality assurance to make sure that every piece of equipment that leaves this arms room is safe and it's functional for a soldier to put into operation.
Yes, sir, and has the appropriate documentation to prove that.
That's fantastic. Okay, so here I see it talks a lot about the actual details about our services. Talked about semi-annual and annual services, but then it gets into this timeline. It actually goes through days of the month, and it talks about how we're going to execute them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's great that we've got a memo, but that's not really the system of record. Do you know what the system of record is?
Is that the Form 314, sir?
No, it's actually the DTMS.
The DTMS. Oh,
The
right, sir.
DTMS printout. So DTMS is the Digital Training Management System, and DTMS is the system of record for scheduling events for a company.
Yes, sir.
So just because we've got a memo doesn't mean that everybody is on the same page.
Right.
Okay, we need a training schedule.
Everybody has access to DTMS.
There we go. And so everyone in the company can see when we're going to actually conduct services
So they can make their own schedules accordingly, sir.
accordingly. All right, fantastic. Okay, what's next? SOP starts talking a little bit about opening and closing inventories.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are our opening and our closing inventories?
They're a first line of defense for accountability, sir.
They're our first line of defense for property accountability. Okay, it must be done correctly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why is it our first line of defense?
Because it's done twice a day, every day. So if something goes missing or something is misplaced, we can identify it the 2 opportunities every day to identify that,
Okay,
and it's the most consistent inventory that's done.
okay. What do we record our inventories, our opening and our closing inventories on?
On 2062, sir.
Okay, can you grab, say, the opening and closing inventories for me and bring them over to me?
Yes, sir, they're right here.
Okay. All right. So, I see that we've got
That one hasn't even been written on yet.
opening and closing. Okay. And talk me through how these work.
These reflect the hand receipt, sir.
Okay.
So every item on the hand receipt is on here,
Okay.
and that just has the quantities. It's not a serial number.
So if it's on your hand receipt, which you've got right here,
Yes, sir.
it'll go right down the line.
Yes, sir.
So the first item on here should match the first item on the hand receipt.
That's right, sir.
Okay. So we're looking at printer daisy wheel dot matrix.
Yes, sir.
All right. And is that the first item that's on there? Printer daisy wheel dot matrix. Okay. And on the hand receipt it says that we've got 1.
Yes, sir.
And right here it says that we've got 1. And that's what we counted today, May 24th.
This morning, sir.
Okay. And because you haven't done your closing for the day, you haven't counted it yet.
Yes, sir.
But I should be able to look at the 23rd, yesterday, and you should have closed with 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's a good check right there. All right, so let's find one. Let's see if we can't find something here that maybe you missed. All right, let's take a look at, say, PVS 14s. All right, 173, it says that we're authorized, but here it says R. What does that mean?
That means they're all at reset right now, sir.
Okay, so they're not actually physically in the arms room.
Right. So I should write 0, but I write that there to remind myself.
Now, do we write 0 or what do we use?
Well, we use a slash, sir.
We use a slash. Why do we use a slash as opposed to a 0?
Because a 0 can be modified very easily, sir.
Okay, fair enough. So I see here you have used the slash in certain places.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so let's find something that you do have that's not in reset. Okay, Sight Reflex M68, open with 23. Can you show me the Sight Reflex on your hand receipt real quick?
Right here, sir.
Okay, Sight Reflex and, okay, the numbers match. And let's take a look at your closing from last night. Okay. All right, it looks good. So, how about this? Let's take a look and make sure that your opening document matches what you physically have.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at, say, some of these night vision goggles. Or what do we got?
We have M68.
M68s. All right, let's take a look at some of these 68s, these CCOs. All right, so let's go through this real quick. All right, you're closing on the 23rd. What do we got here? CCOs, what are they?
And there are also two different lens for the CCOs, sir.
Okay, I see it there. 1, 2. All right. So closing on the 23rd, it said for the first lane you had 17, and for the second lane you have 23.
That's right, sir.
And then let's go to the 24th and see where we're at. Okay. All right, right here. So, Sierra 60288. On the 23rd, it says you have 17.
Yes, sir.
All right, 17 right there. All right, now, as I look at it though, it says quantity authorized 16.
That's right, sir.
All right, why do we have 17 here?
We have this one here is FOI. It's found on installation.
Okay.
It's not on our property books, but we do need to account for it, sir.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. So this is an extra piece of kit that we weren't accounting for.
That's right, sir.
How does that happen? Does it just magically appear?
There's always a story behind it, sir.
Okay. What's the story behind this one?
In this case, it was somebody who was downrange with HHC, and when he came back, he was assigned to, I think, Charlie Company,
Okay.
but he turned his weapon in here and his sight.
Okay, so this was a soldier from another company, probably on maybe one of our specialty teams, like the STT or something,
Something like that, sir.
and their equipment got left here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we just have to add it to our books.
Yes, sir.
And it might actually be on Charlie Company's books. We just have to research it and find out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 16 and 17. Okay. Now, you said that there's 2 lens, so there should be another 23 M68s here in the arms room.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where are those stored?
Those are in the cage over here.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to check on one. Oh, fair enough. So, you physically count every single item in the arms room
That's right, sir.
every time you open and every time you close?
That's right, sir.
Okay, do you do it by yourself?
No, sir. I always have a witness.
Okay, who's your witness?
Your policy is to have an E7 or above.
Okay,
Um,
can we delegate that?
Delegate that to.
An
it can be
E6?
any- Well, you allow one E6 Sergeant Rector.
Okay, that's it though.
That's it, though.
All right, fair enough. All right, I'm gonna give you back your opening and closing documents. Those are fantastic. All right. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. What if you've got extra equipment on the property book, which is not on the books, we FOI it. What form do we use to FOI something?
Let's see, I can't recall off the top of my head, sir. Do we use a 3161?
Nope.
Or,
You've got the XO standing by. He's right over here. He might be able to help you out.
1348.
1348.
That's it. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about discrepancies. So obviously we do have a discrepancy with our CCOs. We have more equipment than that's listed on our hand receipt.
Yes, sir.
That's a better problem to have than if we're missing one.
That's right, sir.
But let's say that you did your opening and you are missing one. What actions do you take?
Well, first I check hand receipts to make sure that it's not signed out to somebody.
Okay,
I check maintenance records to make sure it's not getting maintenance.
okay. You check your closing inventory from the night before, I
Exactly.
assume?
I may do that also.
Okay.
Check my hand receipt, make sure that it hasn't fallen off or that somehow changed.
Okay,
Then I go to the XO and ask him if there may be some explanation for it. If we can't find it, we do immediate serial number inventory for that item,
okay.
just to make sure that nothing got mixed up or anything. And then if that doesn't happen, I start looking for a new job.
Fair enough. All right. So let's talk a little bit about equipment accountability then. Everything in the arms room's got a 2062. So essentially what that means is anything in this arms room should be accounted for on a 2062. Is that right?
That's right, sir.
So it's either on the opening or the closing documents, it's on your hand receipt, but anything that's stored in this arms room should be a sensitive item and nothing else.
That's right, sir.
Okay, do we store BII or COEI in the arms room?
We do not, sir.
We do not. So everything that's in here should be signed for on a 2062.
That's right, sir, including, for instance, the desk, pencils, pens.
So what's the implied task? If it's
The
not
implied-
sensitive?
It should not be in here at all, sir.
Okay, and we have things in here that are maybe
We do, sir.
not signed for?
We do, sir.
Okay, I understand. We've been going through reset and the turn-in of task force harvest and equipment, and it's been a little crazy in here, but typically, what would you have stored in here?
As little as possible, sir.
As little as humanly possible. How do you inventory the stuff that's in here that's not sensitive? So say, for example, you said the desk or the computer, your binders, whatever.
We have a separate 2062 for that, sir.
Okay, separate 2062
Yes,
from
sir.
the opening and closing. Okay, where do you maintain that at?
I just keep that in my desk over here, sir.
Okay, fair enough. All right. What about unassigned equipment? Do we have any unassigned equipment?
No, we don't, sir.
Really? So every single piece of equipment that's stored in this arms room is assigned to somebody by a position?
That's right, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Talk to me about, let's talk a little bit about maintenance and the actual nuts and bolts of maintenance. How do we take a piece of equipment, so they say a soldier was, in the field, performs their duties, it got broken, they bring it back to you and they say, hey, help me out, my equipment's broken. Walk me through every step of that process.
Well, they will show me the 2404 that they are ready to have completed.
Okay, you'll
Which
make you see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Make sure that it's filled out properly.
all right,
Make sure that all the deficiencies the equipment has are documented. I try and investigate a little bit, see who was at fault for the.
let's say that there was no fault.
Then that's fine.
Okay.
The Army pays for it.
Fair enough.
Um,
How do we actually open up a job order? How do we get this piece of equipment to maintenance and back to us?
Well, I complete a 2407.
Okay,
I take it up to maintenance, take this paperwork up to maintenance. make sure 5988 gets printed out, and then with the paperwork and the item, turn that into maintenance.
Okay, so before the item ever gets to maintenance, where is it stored at?
Well, it's stored in an orphan cage, sir.
Okay.
We segregate all deadline equipment
Okay,
separately, someplace up front so that it's visible,
okay.
and so that we get it taken care of right away.
Why do you want it to be up front and visible?
Because we want equipment to be sitting around for no more than 24 hours before we open a job order on it.
Okay,
We
so
want-
that's the standard, 24 hours in the orphan cage, job order's open.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long can it sit in the orphan cage before some action is taken?
7 days, sir.
So 7 days. There's another standard. Okay, fair enough. Why even have an orphan cage? I don't understand. Like, why not just leave it with the platoon's respective cage?
To prevent from accidentally issuing out that equipment, sir.
Okay, so once something's been identified as deadlined or broken, it's therefore rendered unsafe, and we're not going to sign it back out.
That's right, sir.
And the best way to make sure that you don't sign it out is to segregate it.
Exactly, sir.
Okay, do we have an orphan cage?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where's our orphan cage?
We have one right here, sir.
Okay, so we have one right here. How many items do we have in our orphan cage presently?
Right now, it's 20 items, sir.
20 items. How long have they been in the orphan cage?
About a week, sir.
About a week. Okay, so we're getting close. Now, I realize that, a lot of things going on, units inactivating, no big deal. But what are we going to do with those pieces of equipment that are in that orphan cage?
Well, if we weren't deactivating and turning the equipment in, we'd be getting that up to maintenance as soon as possible, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
so from the orphan cage, it gets to maintenance out.
Well, we take it up there, sir. Either hand carry it or it goes in a government vehicle.
Okay, and what documents did you say it requires again?
It requires 2404, the initial 2404, 2407, work order,
Okay,
and also 5988, sir.
okay. Fantastic. Now, how long typically will it remain in maintenance?
As short a time as possible, sir.
Okay.
That's up to if parts need to be ordered.
Could
things
take a
like
while.
that. It could take a while.
Okay, so once it's in there, is it kind of like out of sight, out of mind? I mean, it could just be in maintenance for a year.
No, sir, or it better not be, sir.
Oh, fair enough, but how do we know?
30 days, well, we keep track of what's in maintenance, sir.
On what?
We have I forget the number, is it a 17, I forget the number of the form.
Well, we can use an 026 report.
026 report.
026 is kind of our non-mission capable equipment
Yes, sir.
report. That goes from the PLL clerk and maintenance. It goes to the commander, but the primary armor actually gets the 026 report.
Yes, sir.
Gets it weekly, can review it weekly, check the status. They can get it as often as they want, but here we use weekly. And then they can check the status to make sure that their equipment is actually being maintained.
That's right, sir.
Now, on the 026 report, it actually has status codes. Are you familiar with those status codes?
To some extent, sir.
To
Not
some
as much
extent?
as I ought to be.
Okay, well, there's a status code called BA. Do you know what that means?
BA, does that mean the parts have arrived and it's just waiting, it's waiting to be returned to us, sir?
Close. That means that the parts have been, shipped
Shipped.
and they're en route.
All right, sir.
What about BB?
BB means the parts have not been shipped yet, sir?
Because they're backward.
Right, sir.
They haven't been shipped, and it's because they're backward. There's a lot of codes. There's several different codes, and probably too many codes for any one person to actually have memorized. Where would you look to find out what those codes are?
Well, there's a logistician's cheat sheet, sir. That is found in Appendix D of 710-2, if I remember correctly.
That's right. And you can also look maybe on the PB's User's Manual Appendix D as well.
Okay.
So both of those two can give you all the codes, very, very clear, very simple. But without it, you're not going to know. But
That's
the best
right.
resource I found is that logistician's cheat sheet as well. Okay. All right. Monthly inventories. The SOP here says E6 or above. Do we do that?
No, sir, you do E7 or above.
Why do we do that?
Just to have that extra level of accountability, sir.
Okay. All right. Once the equipment comes back from maintenance, what happens next?
Well, then we file the records away. We make sure that the item that all faults have been corrected, and then we
Reissue it?
Just reissue it, sir.
Okay, does it go back to the original owner, or does it get issued out to somebody else?
No, sir. It goes back to the person to whom it's assigned.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's change gears a little bit. SOP's starting to talk to me a little bit about this thing called the SARP box. What is SARP?
SARP is small arms repair parts.
Okay,
They are used to repair the weapons that we keep in this arms room.
okay.
That box is locked, and I do not have the key for it.
Why not?
Well, in theory, you could build a new weapon from the parts in a SARP box.
Okay, so who maintains the key to the SARP box?
Right now, the XO maintains the key.
Okay,
Somebody who's not on the unaccompanied access roster is the intent there, sir.
okay. Fair enough. All right, what next? Okay, spare barrels. That's a great topic. Do we have spare barrels for our
Yes, sir.
weapons? All right. Talk to me about what the SOP says about spare barrels.
They all need to be tagged, sir,
With what?
with the serial number of the weapon they belong to, sir.
Okay, how do we tag? What's our standard? What's our SOP? What do we use?
Well, we use the dog tags and
That's right.
yes, sir.
Dog tags and baling wire. So on the dog tag and the baling, on the dog tag would be the serial number, and that barrel would then be gauged to the weapon.
That's right, sir.
So it's important to make sure that we've got the proper barrel to the proper weapon.
That's right, sir.
Okay, fair enough. All right, what is the standard for 249s? How many barrels do they have?
They ought to have 2 each, sir.
Okay, one long barrel and one short barrel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do we maintain 2062s for barrels as well?
Well, I mean, they're considered components of the end item itself, sir.
Okay, so in this case, we actually do have components that we store in the arms room.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I tell you what, I want to conclude with a little test.
All right, sir.
All right, let's call it the how long drill. All right, I figure a company armorer should be able to locate any piece of equipment in their arms room, because they should know it all, right?
Yes, sir.
Within, what's a reasonable time standard? What do you think?
30 seconds, sir.
Within 30 seconds. All right, well then we'll see. I'm going to give you an item,
All right, sir.
and you've got 30 seconds. So we're going to be looking for, you might want to write this down, unless you've got a memory, like an elephant.
It's not that good, sir.
All right. Let's look for Echo Lima Charlie, 042 7486. All right, that was fast. All right, Echo Lima Charlie, 0427486. That's it. Looks like you passed the test. That didn't take you long at all.
No, sir.
All right, fantastic. Okay, what's the arms room again?
It's the heart of readiness, sir.
All right, and what are the 3 key tasks of our arms room?
Cleanliness, accountability, and 1020 standards, sir.
Okay. I think you passed this inspection. What do you think?
Yes, sir. There's always room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement. That's right. And what do we do to make sure we're improving?
We constantly assess ourselves, sir.
Constantly assess ourselves. We do after-action reviews. We do inspections. We identify our deficiencies, and then we work hard to fix them.
That's right, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Corporal Gannon. You did a real good job. And hopefully this video has been educational and informative to any company level leaders who might want to learn how to do an inventory and inspection and understand how we conduct maintenance, services, and maintain accountability of our equipment here in